friends, welcome back to my channel. This video is going to be my first trimester update. I am definitely way behind on filming this, but of course when you have an almost 1-year-old, life gets a little bit hectic. So I'm gonna do my best to try and keep up with it more from here on out. I think it's once you get back into being more on a schedule, it's a little easier to keep up with it, but just had to get over that first hump of filming the first video. So luckily I did take some notes for that purpose, and hopefully the notes will jog my memory. Also, luckily, because it was the first trimester, there wasn't a whole lot going on. But yeah, so I will just go ahead and start going through my notes. So this time around, the nausea and the fatigue started at around 6 weeks, or a few days before 6 weeks, which I think was just a little bit earlier this time, but not by a lot. And it was also a little bit worse in terms of nausea this time. I think the fatigue was about the same, but it maybe felt a little bit more impactful because, of course, last time I didn't have a baby yet. So it was a little bit easier to just rest when I needed to. My husband definitely took care of Ivy a lot during that time so that I could rest, especially when I was also feeling nauseous, because it's one thing to power through the fatigue. It's a lot harder to power through the nausea. And the nausea still wasn't horrible. I wasn't, throwing up or anything, but it was still, I think, worse this time than last time, because at least last time I still had an interest in food. This time there were definitely times where I didn't want to eat, and when I would eat I would get full a lot faster. I would start eating and then just not want to finish. So I actually did lose a little bit of weight in the first trimester, but that's really common, so it wasn't of concern, and I'm still on track with my weight gain. I'm still within the range. I'm on the lower end, but I think obviously that's fine. I'm still within the range. So, and then let's see. So then we also had our first scan at 6 weeks. It was technically 5 weeks, 6 days. And we did it that soon because I had been having a little bit of discomfort on one side, and we just wanted to rule out ectopic. So obviously baby was right where they're supposed to be, but we could pretty much only see the gestational sac and the yolk sac. The midwife thought that she could possibly see a flickering heartbeat, but she wasn't positive. So, I was slightly reassured, but not 100%, just because of that. With Ivy, that first scan, we were able to for sure see the flickering heartbeat. So that was a lot more comforting, but that was the time that we could get in. If we had tried to go even a couple days later, there was no availability. It would have had to have been a couple weeks after that. So we didn't want to wait that long, just to make sure it wasn't ectopic. So that was the main reason for going. So then, because we didn't get to see the flickering heartbeat, we did end up going to a boutique place around, I think it was a few days after 7 weeks. Yeah, just a few days after 7 weeks. And this time we were able to see everything. So baby was, of course, where it was supposed to be, we knew. And then we also saw the heartbeat. I think, yeah, we heard the heartbeat too, and everything was normal, measuring on track and everything. So that was great. I think I have a photo from that, so if I do, I will insert that now. Then we did the blood test to determine the sex of the baby around 8 weeks, which was about the time that we did it for Ivy as well. So of course we have gotten those results back by now and everything, and even confirmed through ultrasound, but I will do that in a separate video. And yeah, so then we actually went to a different boutique place at a little over 10 weeks. So it was around the same time as an ultrasound that we had with Ivy, because we also had one with Ivy at like a little over 10 weeks. And it's funny because they look exactly the same. They both were resting in the same position with their hand on their forehead and everything, and it's almost like an exact replica of the same ultrasound photo. So I will put in a picture side by side so you can see how similar they were. Then I started feeling better around 11 weeks, which I think was about the time last time too. It might have been just a little bit sooner last time, but it was, pretty close. And I still wasn't great, but like I felt like I could actually help more with Ivy, because a lot of the fatigue and nausea was on its way down. So I had a lot more moments of feeling better. So that was a huge relief. And all of my blood tests have come back normal, or all the ones that I had in the first trimester. I don't think I have had any since then, but obviously we're just talking about the first trimester right now. So yes, they were all normal. So that's good. And we announced at about 12 weeks, and I will insert some photos of that. Yeah, because we used a couple different ones, so I will insert those. And then as far as cravings go, I didn't have a ton, mostly because of just not being as interested in food. But towards the end of the first trimester, when my appetite started coming back, I had a lot of the same cravings as I did with the last pregnancy. So sour and citrusy things like oranges, grapefruit, blueberries, green apples, pickles, any like salads with like a vinaigrette dressing, that kind of stuff. And then this time around, I definitely craved more salty than sweet. Obviously, like aside from the fruit, but like I noticed that if I ever did feel like I wanted some sort of dessert, which was rare, but if I did, I would get a few bites into it and then I have to stop because my body would be like, no, I don't want this. So yeah, that was an interesting difference between the two. So I think that pretty much covers the first trimester. Like I said, there's not a whole lot to talk about because it's mostly just trying to get through each day feeling not like yourself. So, but all in all, still, like I think it definitely could have been far worse. So I definitely empathize for those who have, the really bad nausea and, vomiting all the time, like can't keep food down and that sort of stuff. Like that would just be so hard. So I am very grateful that it still wasn't to that level. And yeah, I think that sums everything up. and I'll probably split up the second and third trimesters just because there is a lot more to cover for the second and third than at the first. So I'll probably do similar to what I did last time and split them up into like 2 videos per trimester. So if you have any questions, leave them down below, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys for my next update. Bye.